Hello, officials, and welcome to another weekly edition of Film Study and Review for the Wyoming High School Activities Association. This is Tyler Spear, your state coordinator of football officials. Three clips today, and want to start by thanking these crews that I've highlighted for their willingness to have their film looked at and help us all get better across the state and anyone else watching out there. We really do appreciate it. Want to reiterate too that these reviews are not to pick on anyone or to call anything major into question as much as they are just meant to help us all think about things, work on our mechanics, our rules knowledge, and help us all to get better. So let's try and keep that spirit going. But then again, let's get started. So the first play that you have here in front of you is a free kick after a score, and a couple things as we look in the pre-snap. You've heard me say it a lot, but we don't start any free kick with the potential for a foul that could otherwise be avoided. And so, if you look up at the top of the screen where our back judge is, hopefully he's gone up to the 35 and ensured that all of those K players are inside the 35. Um, it looks like there may be some slight issue. Not going to infer, but just make sure they're all the way inside that 35. No feet touching the back line, anything like that. Um, but what we're going to look at for this play is actually going to be down near the 20 on the bottom of the screen where the umpire is. We're going to look at his mechanics. Now, the last thing I'll highlight, haven't done one of these yet this year, but you can see that the kicker has started into his motion, and I want you to look at this bottom sideline. Get that fixed. You know, free kicks, again, we don't ever start one of these with a preventable foul. And sideline warning is part of that. And so while you're there, before you put your hand up for the free kick, just remind those teams in your side zone to get back, to leave the restricted zone, your office completely empty so you can work. You got to move down pretty quickly on these, moving downfield pretty quickly, and traffic in your way is not a good thing. So just something to remember in that situation. But again, as we get started, we're going to see the mechanics stand here on the 20. Our umpires come into view. I'm going to stop it right there. Stay on the sideline, officials. Nothing good happens when we work in the field of play. Also, from the bill of the hat, where are you looking? It's not where you need to be looking. So let's let this play go some more. We have a muff, and look at where this umpire ends up. I'll let it go through another time. When we get in the middle of things, we stop refereeing and we go into preservation mode. Not only that, our umpire here should not be looking at this action on the person with the ball. They've got blockers here. They've got one here. Our line judge is going a little far down as well. Maybe line judge, keep yourself a little further back as well. Remember, if they bust this, you've got goal line responsibility on your side. So it'd be important for you to stay back. But we've got blockers and opposite color, and we're in the middle of it. And if you look at where he ends up, and this is the important part, he ends up right back pretty well where he started. And so if you as an umpire just stay in their side zone, it was part of the email last week, stay in the side zone, right there on the 20, stay put, keep a wide view, look at these on rushers. You actually are officiating the play, and you don't even have to move until the ball is dead and you can shut the clock down. So got to get these mechanics better, guys. This is one where if this kid busts it, you're in some considerable peril. And that isn't a good thing because if you go down, working a game with only four is not what the game needs or what your crews need. I mean, it's instantaneous that he's walking on the field. So if you're in free kick mechanics, you need to stay put and you need to stay in the restricted zone. There is no question, there is no exception if you're starting on those sidelines. It's what the restricted zone is there for. Just got to be better on that. Okay, we're gonna grab another one from the same game. So give me just a minute here. All right. Oh, now on this one here, um, we have, if we look at our down and distance, what do we get? We have second and double stakes, second and long. So we're thinking pass in this situation. Formation looks good. Wing officials, we do not signal that our outside guy is on the line. There's no mechanic in the book for that. We're only signaling if they're off the line, so keep that in mind. But watch the motion of our receiver here. Nothing, nothing, nothing. And all of a sudden, we've discovered that we're in Canada. So when we see these kind of plays, wing officials, this is your call. This is your call. An R is not going to see this. A U is not going to see this. I would say our head linesman in this situation, this is your guy. The LJ, you can be a crew saver on this. Excuse me. And obviously, our nice Federation camera pans away. Hopefully, ooh, referee get there a little quicker. Your QB1 ended up in the bench, the opposite bench, or no, that's the friendly bench. But still get there because you've got onlookers. Um, got to have that view and what goes on in the out of bounds space. But the big thing here is Wings, talk about this in your pregame. Who checks whose motion? And guys, this is one we can't miss. This is what I call a nickel dimer foul. These are ones where there is no judgment in determining whether this is a foul or not. It's just a foul. So we'll let it play one more time. But wing mechanics, talk about this in your pregame. And goodness gracious, we got to get this one, guys. All right, I got one more for us. And this one, we're dusting off a point of emphasis from last year. So I'll let this one just roll through. It's a shorter clip. So what do we have? We've got 4th and 1. We're on the money line. I'm just going to let it go through, but look at what happens to QB1. We've got 77 and 33. This is textbook, folks. I'm going to do it frame by frame here. I don't think I can do slow-mo on this. So 13 is trying to sneak, 77 and 33 both square into the back of him. This is not the bush push. This is not the piles rugby scrum. This is explicitly what helping the runner is. So, and I've seen it multiple times this year on these sneak plays. Okay, so I like that these wings are busting in to try and get the spot. I'm okay with that. But most importantly, let's make sure, and this is probably the referee's got the best look at this. This is textbook helping the runner. And you can see it both there. In fact, it's quite interesting because we have the top official going in with the dead ball short of the line to gain. Don't signal until you get in all the way and make sure you know where it is. Because I can promise you from the hash, you have no idea where this football is in a pile like that. So crash in, find the ball, and then go up because I don't know that we have uniformity on what the result of this play is. But as we get into these games that are coming down to the wire, where there's an increased intensity, we've got playoff implications coming down the wire here. Um, make sure we're getting some of these. This is another one that we need to have a throw on because it's clear. In fact, you can see there at the end, the coaches saw it too. This is textbook, and we got to have some yellow on this. Well, officials, that's what I have for you today, and hopefully it's helpful. Get in those pregame meetings just because we're getting down to the middle of the year towards the end. This is not the time to start taking off and get taking our pre-games for granted. Make sure that we're spending the time we need to spend to make sure that we are ready to officiate the games with excellence. If you need a copy of a pre-game meeting, if you want something a little different, ask around. Each association does it a little differently. I've got three or four of them that are canned, so don't hesitate to reach out. But ultimately, use that time in the car, use that time in the locker room wisely, and ultimately make sure we're sharp. I think that might be the theme for this week, whether it's the sideline, free kick and mechanics, rules knowledge, whatever it may be. Let's make sure we're sharp because that's what the game commands. Thanks for your attention. This is Tyler Spear, State Coordinator of Football Officials for Wyoming High School Activities Association. I appreciate your time and your service. Have a great week.